Welcome everyone to this LinkedIn Live. I am Lori Potts. For those of you who do not know me, I am a career coach and public speaking coach, and I specialize in helping women to overcome internal and external bias that frequently holds us back from success, the conditioning that we experience during childhood or any other negative experiences can really shape our confidence, whether that be for public speaking or any other situations in our life. So that's one of the things that I love about my work is helping women to overcome those specific challenges. So it doesn't look like Nasheen was able to make it this morning, but I still wanted to go live and talk about these important skills that you can learn to decrease your public speaking anxiety, to be able to advance your career, to be able to get where you want to go when it comes to whether it be in corporate, whether it be giving a TED talk, whatever direction that you want to go in your life. Public speaking can help you build your reputation and get you there. It looks like Nasheen made it in. I'm going to add her to the broadcast. Nasheen, you made it. Thank you
Hello.
so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry. I
absolutely. I'm so
a
excited you were
Zoom
able to make
link that
it.
I was yeah, yeah, I'm very excited. There was a Zoom link that I was trying to join. I don't know why.
Oh, no worries at all. Yep, I use StreamYard. Well, thank you for being here with me, Nasheen. I was just introducing our topic and I introduced myself. I would love it if you
Thank-
introduced yourself as well.
Sure. So, you know that annoying kid who always stands up at every family reunion and recites the most boring poem ever? I used to be that annoying kid. I have always loved speaking in public, but it took me a long time to realize that that was actually my calling in life, not just speaking, but also helping others speak better. So,
Mm,
what I do now is that I am a leadership communication coach and I help people speak with high impact on stage, on camera, in person. I come from a Fortune 50 background. I was in PR and marketing for the longest time and then meandered into improv, stand up comedy, writing for a crappy late night comedy TV show, and then studying film and becoming a filmmaker and an entrepreneur because why not? And then realizing that my favorite part of filmmaking was actually helping people speak on camera with confidence, especially non professional talent. So that's pretty much what I do now, helping people speak better.
yes, amazing. I love your story. It's one of those things, it's so interesting to hear how we get to where we are as entrepreneurs. I find that the natural skills and pain points that we frequently have experienced throughout our life are one of those things that have typically brought us to where we are as whether it be entrepreneurs or in our career. So thank you for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. Does anyone else have a delay on Nasheen's feed? Let me know. Sometimes there's a delay in the comments, but I want to make sure that everyone's able to see and hear you really well because what you have to say is valuable. So, we are
Oh,
here to talk
thank you.
about overcoming our public speaking anxiety. So, let's get started. One of the things that
Mm,
frequently holds people back is feeling really anxious on stage. All of those eyes on you can feel like a lot of pressure. But we're here to tell you that you can build this skill of public speaking. You can build out your um, fear response at a lower level by
mm,
taking simple steps. It's a lot simpler than we might think. Like going to that big scary place right away, that thing that like sounds really intimidating, you don't always have to go there right away. And there are ways to overcome your anxiety step by step, and we want to share those specific steps with you. So, Nasheen, why don't you take it away with these first tips?
Sure. So the first thing is to really understand where is that fear coming from? Where is the
Mhm.
anxiety coming from? And what it is that you can do to address it. There are many different fears that people have. It could be a fear of judgment, a fear of critique, a fear of being an imposter on stage, a fear that people are going to laugh at you or call you out for something that you are what is the fear? If you can pinpoint that anxiety, the source of that anxiety, you get so much closer to creating a strategy.
You froze, Nasheen. I can't hear you anymore.
Oh, mm,
No, you're
is
back now.
it any better?
Yeah, now it
Okay.
is. It just keeps kind of going in and out. I'm not
Okay.
sure why, but I haven't had anyone comment that your feed is off, so I think we're fine. So, yes, having understanding that mindset on what it is that's holding you back. Did you have a negative experience a long time ago with public speaking? Is it feelings of, oh my gosh, I could never speak on this topic. I can't believe someone even like asked me to, right?
Mm,
I pitched myself for a TEDx and I somehow got it, right? That those feelings of imposter syndrome. And
yeah.
keeping in mind, and it took me a long time to learn this, but keeping in mind that most people are not hyperanalyzing you, whether you're on stage or not, and they're looking at
Yeah.
you and
Mm,
absorbing the information you're sharing. Most people don't are more too absorbed in what they're experiencing internally, too absorbed in their own life, even if they're like here for LinkedIn Live or whatever it might be, um, to really hyperanalyze us. So just keep like that really helped me because I grew up with a very perfectionistic father. So my mind automatically like went
mhm.
to, oh my gosh, everyone is paying attention to all of my insecurities and they're, analyzing everything single thing that I'm doing wrong. And that just wasn't true. Like the more I exposed myself to the world,
Mhm.
for decades, it just made it really clear that, oh, and especially when I became an entrepreneur too, because we're putting ourselves out there
Mhm.
and becoming more vulnerable. And most people are just supportive more than anything.
Yeah.
And when you're on stage, people are wanting you to succeed. They're not like, oh my gosh, I hope they fail. No one thinks that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's in their best interest, right? Because these people have taken time out of their day. And if we win, they win. They get good ROI on their time that they've spent listening to
Yeah,
us. So they're absolutely rooting
yeah.
for us to win.
Agreed. Charmaine, I love your comment about your mother previously telling you to stop talking, and it's actually your gift and a moneymaker. Amen. So true. That is very true for me as well. I'm always been bold and willing to speak the truth. And that is one of the traits my
Yeah.
clients absolutely value because I'm willing to provide them true, honest feedback that's, respectful and sensitive, but yeah, being able to utilize what other people have seen as weaknesses to your strength, it's so empowering. So thank you for sharing. So
Yeah,
let's go
my
into,
third grade
go ahead.
report card. Oh, sorry. I was going to say my third grade report card read Nasheen is a very intelligent child, but she talks a lot. And there was like no explanation on like what does she make noise? Does she just talk crap? No, just that she talks a lot. And that
Mm,
was considered negative, just that.
right. And girls, research has shown that girls talk less the older they get. They raise their hands less the older that they get. And one of the reasons girls talk more is because they get talked to more as infants and as children, because people assume
Mm,
that girls will talk more, so they talk more to them. So it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy, and then we're discouraged from doing it. And if you're a woman watching this and you've experienced that, like Charmaine has, then and like I was, stop speaking your mind. Then when you get on stage, those same
mm,
thoughts come back because our brain's priority is to keep us safe. And so if it's saying this is going to be scary, this is going to be hard, this is going to contradict what your brain has been taught for years and years and years, then you're going to feel that anxiety and fear and internalize all of those things and believe that other people are going to be thinking that when you're on stage, but it's probably not the case.
Yeah.
So let's go into the specific like practical tips that people can implement
Hmm.
to help them decrease their anxiety before, during a presentation. So the first one is developing your own pregame ritual. I have my own, but Nasheen, I'd love for you to share first.
Sure. So I really encourage people to find their own rhythm, just like you found your own ritual, your own routine. There's no like one size fits all. I typically break down warm ups or a pregame ritual into three parts. So one is physical warm ups. The second one is vocal warm ups. And the third one is expression warm ups, which are really useful for video. So for physical warm ups, they're pretty much like the kind of warm up you do before you go to the gym. So you can stretch, you can do jumping jacks. I like really kind of shaking out my arms and legs and rolling my shoulders, rolling my head. So it should have two effects: one, to really make you feel loose, but then two, to also get the blood flowing. Some people also
Yes.
dance. They like listening to their favorite song and just dancing along, which works as well, puts you in a good mood. And then there's vocal warm ups, which are used really commonly by singers, for example, to warm up their voice. I recommend doing really simple vocal warm ups, like holding a for a while, opening it out into vowels, and just simple things that you can really do to warm up your voice. Singing can also warm up. Don't just start like belting out, you know, I will always love you, but try to sing along, first gently and then to really warm up
Mhm.
your voice, and then you can go a little bit louder if you like. And the third
Yes.
is my favorite, expression warm-ups, which you can do to really prime your facial muscles, but also to kind of prime your brain to be expressive. And the simplest way to do this is to have a sentence, any sentence. So right now it might rain and I've forgotten my umbrella, for example. So take a sentence and say it in different moods. Say it as an angry person. Say it as
Mm.
someone who's had a great day and wants to talk about it. Say it as if you're explaining it to a 2-year-old. And the more expressions you can give yourself, the better, because telling your brain, now it's time to be expressive, and you're getting your
Yes.
muscles all warmed up. So those are the
Yeah.
three big kind of clusters that I put my warm ups in. So what about you?
I Yeah, I really love that last one that you talked about. Not everyone is very naturally expressive. I feel like you and I are, because I've talked to you outside of just public, like our own public speaking engagement that we're doing right now. So that comes naturally to some people, but for others it doesn't. Some people are not super emotional and or they've been trained to not express a lot of emotion. So
Mhm.
getting in that mindset of I want people to pay attention to me. I want people to, feel something. And so, me expressing that emotion with my tone, facial expression, all of those different aspects will enable them to be engaged with what I'm saying. So, I love that tip. Um, and mine are my hype playlist. I love using a playlist of songs that get me hyped up for speaking engagements that feel encouraging to me, like High Hopes by Panic at the Disco, right? It says the message is keep going no matter what, the world might tell you, no matter what things might stand in your way. If you have that vision, if you have your passion, then keep going for it. And when it comes to anxiety, reframing your experiences like that can really help. So, one of the things I love is a hype playlist that I share with clients. And the other is doing the vocal warm-ups, and I guess there is a third, or the physical aspect. So vocal warm-ups are really important just so your voice sounds more pleasant, and it gets blood flowing to where you need it, which is, your neck, your vocal box, so you can sound more pleasant to your audience. And I really love doing power poses. So when you do a power pose,
Mm,
it communicates to your brain that you've already succeeded. So if you go like this before any of your presentations, it's like, yes, I succeeded. I'm a champion. And people who are blind do this too if they've succeeded at something. So it's literally our mind telling us we just did something amazing. So if you can prime your
yeah.
brain to tell you that you're going to succeed in the first place. So many psychological tricks that you can implement to help you feel confident and help you actually sound great. And the more you prepare with these types of tips and, prepare your content as well,
Mm.
it'll help you feel more confident. So I'm full proponent of as much preparation as you can do. I always feel more confident when I prepare more, and my clients do as well. And
Yeah, absolutely.
let's go into during the speech when we're feeling anxious.
Mm, right. So you're there, you're in the spotlight, you're on stage or you're on camera, and you're feeling anxious. The first thing you can do is label that emotion. Understand that, tell your brain that, okay, I'm feeling anxious, it's happening. So don't be in denial. Don't try to avoid it, because then you don't know what kind of effect it's having. If you label it, you're getting closer to controlling it.
Yes.
Ask yourself, what do you need in this moment? Do you need to take a breath, have a sip of water, take a pause, ask the audience something so that it gives you some time to stop talking and breathe? What is it that you need? Try to give yourself something that you might need, that you can really use to then get over that feeling.
Mm.
And the more you practice this, the more you'll know what works for you and what doesn't. So, for me, for example, I hate speaking without having water with me. So, if I don't have this, it's not going to work for me. I'm going to be distracted. I'm going to feel weird. My throat's going to dry up. So, understand what works for you and make sure that you create as much of a conducive environment as possible.
Hmm.
Taking a breath,
Yeah.
pausing and breathing, it will really help, and people will be patient. I have seen speakers take long pauses on stage, and no one ever gets up and says, "Hurry up, we don't have time."
Right.
People
No.
are patient. They listen. You can have a sip of water. I've even, there's some ambitious people that even have like a cookie or a bit of chocolate. Go for it. Give
Right.
yourself that
Keep your energy up.
thing that you need.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Um, Charmaine says humor works for me. I love that. Um, and
Mm.
mistakes happen on stage. Like, just speaking of humor, um, I remember watching
Yeah.
the host of Women of Impact. I'm forgetting her name right now, but she told the story of when she gave her TED talk, and she accidentally said her father gave birth, which obviously can't happen. And so she, when she realized that, she's like, "Well, that would be funny," and just laughed it off. And
Yeah.
so, it helps you feel more comfortable. It helps other people feel more comfortable if you just, laugh it off. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes. So, yeah, if that kind of thing happens, then it's okay to just laugh it off, and it's fine. Everyone makes mistakes, and people are actually attracted to that vulnerability because other people want to feel safe being vulnerable too. So keep that in mind. If you ever make a mistake on stage, it's completely fine. We're all human. Um,
Mm.
and breathing is really important. So Along with like silence, silence is perfectly fine. A bit of silence like that, there's nothing wrong
Hmm.
with it. In fact, it can be really powerful. If you watch Barack Obama's speeches, one of the things he does to communicate power is a lot of pausing. So it's actually something that says, I'm comfortable with silence right now, and I'm allowing you to process what I just said because I know that what I said just had impact, and it's important enough for a person to pause to think about it.
Hmm.
And like I said, breathing. Breathing is important because your brain needs oxygen. So you need to be able to have your body needs the resources, oxygen, food, all of the basic things to be able to function well. Your executive
Hmm.
functions need that. So speak slowly, intentionally. And if you breathe on the out breath, or if you speak on the out breath, then your sound will sound more authoritative because your vocal cords are more relaxed, and when your vocal cords are more relaxed, it makes a deeper sound, making you sound more authoritative. So I'm a second soprano, so my voice is generally high anyways, but I can affect
Hmm.
how my voice sounds by speaking on the out breath, by preparing with vocal warm ups, those types of things. So remember, silence is fine. If you forget what
Hmm.
you have to say, look at your note cards or just think for a moment. Silence is fine. It's not uncomfortable.
Yeah. And you bring up about slowing down. So that's definitely a solid strategy. And then you eventually, if you really want to get to that next level, it's about understanding when to slow down, when to speed up, how much to speed up by, and why you're adding in the variations of pacing. Because if you can vary your pace, because get complacent in their seats, it's going to make them think, okay, this person's just saying the same thing. Right, right, right. So understanding when to really play with that speed variation, it really helps. And of course,
Yeah.
you need to be in control of it. You need to know what you're saying and when and why you're changing up something.
Hmm. Yeah. Pacing can be really powerful, but if you're speaking slowly the whole time, it becomes a little bit monotone. So, yes, being intentional with your pacing,
Yeah.
with your tone at specific points, right? You can go through line by line in your speech
Mhm.
and, know when you might want to do that. My favorite is speaking slowly for the intro and conclusion. I find that very powerful, and people frequently pay attention really
Mm,
well. But, it depends on the situation, and it depends on what it is that you're sharing. Like you said, context is important. So
mm,
let's go into visualization. This is really, really powerful. So, what do you want to happen at the end of your speech? Do you want that amazing standing ovation? Do you want to see people smiling at you while you're on stage, or just that clap at the end? Whatever it might be, if you visualize that happening, then you're like, damn, I'm going to do amazing. How have you found that visualization helps your
mhm.
clients?
Visualization can actually be powerful. One of the ways that my visualization is actually in the context where they're speaking to a camera and they don't have an audience. A lot of people get thrown off by that because sometimes, in fact, all the time, when you have an audience, you can get their feedback. You can play off of their feedback. You know who's interested and who's not. You know what kind of expressions they're giving you and whether what you're saying is landing or not. And these same
Mhm.
people, the people that are actually experienced, them to create content, they feel stumped. They feel out of their comfort zone because there's no audience. Who will they read? How do they know if what they're saying is landing or not? So
Yeah,
visualization really helps in that case where
mhm.
you can visualize the audience, you can imagine them watching your video. So watching the result, what you are creating right now, appreciating it and cheering you on, or thinking, wow,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I found this video, or wow, this is really helpful. So that's a very application visualization that my clients have used.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, not every situation you're going to see a standing ovation for these days, right? We do lots of remote presentations. We're doing a LinkedIn Live right now. While we have some comments, that doesn't always happen for every LinkedIn Live, or people are there, but they don't necessarily comment. So, yeah, everything is a little bit different, and applying these principles based on the situation just can really help build your confidence and make a difference. So we've talked about visualization during and after. We've talked about what to do before. Let's talk about preparation. Excuse me, preparation and mindset. I think we did a little bit about mindset, but I'd love to go into that a little bit more.
We were talking earlier is like that secret tool. It doesn't just help you get better at the content, doesn't just help you deliver better. It also tells your brain that I'm prepared. So about you, I'm sure you've all crossed people who are good at improvising. They're all right, they're average, above average. You put them on the spot, they're going to be able to present. They're not going to freeze, but because they themselves know that they haven't rehearsed, their delivery is going to be subpar in some ways. They're going to get stuck at times. They're going to use too many filler words. They're going to sway a little bit on their feet or step weirdly. They might stutter, might not know, might kind of just make a mistake or fumble. Oh, let me just share a screen. Oh, wait, just hold on. Because they're actually putting themselves at a disadvantage by not preparing, by telling their brain that they're unprepared. So it's not just that they are unprepared, but they have this painful awareness of being unprepared. And that's really the thing that causes that damage. So
Yeah,
being
it
prepared is
becomes like a
always
self-fulfilling
really, really
prophecy.
important. And yeah, exactly. So yeah, being prepared really works. Prepare the content and then prepare the delivery. That's another very common mistake that I've seen, where people really work hard on their presentation slides. They'll work on it till the end, till the last minute, but they won't practice their delivery. So
Mm,
they'll actually end up in the presentation. So it kind of
yeah.
defeats the whole purpose. You worked so hard, but you didn't practice how you're going to actually make that content land.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in slides come last. Like, your message has to be there because tech issues happen all the time. Your slides might not work. You have to be able to own your message and have it down packed to make the impact and be seen as confident and competent. If you constantly have to look at your slides, then it shows that you're not prepared, and you're not going to you're like you said, you're not going to feel that confidence because you haven't actually done the work to practice and become really familiar with your message. It's essential, absolutely. So we are about out of time,
Mhm.
but anything else that you want to add? And then please share anything with your audience about your business or what you can offer them.
Well, what I just want to end on is that don't think of public speaking as the skill that you only need if you need to go on stage or do some big formal presentation. You're speaking in public every single day, every single Zoom meeting that you have more in public. Every is speaking, you are presenting your best self. So if you work on your overall speaking skills, your overall public speaking skills, it's going to help you in so many different ways. It's going to help you get that raise. It's going to help you get more clients, make more sales, close more deals, and just really grow as a communicator and as a person. So
Yes. There are
really
so many
investing in how you
opportunities.
speak and speaking better. Yeah, yeah. It can be very, very, it can just be a game changer, really, for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, take every single opportunity to improve your public speaking. Um, Research has shown that when it comes to career advancement, being able to speak publicly and do so effectively is one of the top ways to advance your career. Because if you're making a proposal, it's usually not just in front of your boss, it's going to be above their boss or above their boss too. So you're getting in front of decision makers. They're going to know your face, they're going to know your
Yeah.
name, they're going to know that you're competent enough to share something that other people didn't necessarily. Volunteering over and over again to make that presentation, you're getting in front of eyes that normally you
Mhm.
wouldn't. So building out this skill can make all the difference in your
Yeah.
career and being successful as an entrepreneur, so many different directions. So build out that skill and you will go far and take every advantage of those situations when you're just in a meeting but you have to express your thoughts cohesively and eloquently. So practice all of those opportunities and keep in mind that your first public speaking thing doesn't have to be a TED talk in front of 1,000 people. It doesn't have to be on stage. It can be a LinkedIn Live where it's just you or, with a partner or two. And there's just so many other situations these days where you can build up this skill in ways that are a little bit less scary. So if you are interested in being a better public speaker, feel free to reach out to Nasheen or I. We absolutely have a passion for helping people do this. I also do speech writing. So if you want to improve on your message and want to make sure that it is on point, then I would love to help with that as well. And of course, I also offer career coaching for women, helping them to advance, build their confidence, and be seen as the highly capable and competent people that they are. Nasheen, do you have any call to action you want to share?
Well, if you're looking to get better at speaking, whether it's at your job or whether you want to close more deals as an entrepreneur or do the next TED talk or sure that you ace that next podcast interview, that's what I help with. So I help you speak better on any platform and really kind of build that as a life skill, build communication as a life skill. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me. And thank you again, Lori, so much for giving me the opportunity. And this was a great conversation.
Yes, thank you for being here with me, Nasheen, and taking the time. It was such a pleasure. And thank you, everyone who has participated today in the comments. Feel free, once again, to reach out to any of us with questions. And thanks so much for being here, everyone. And we'll see you on the next LinkedIn Live. Bye.
Awesome.